Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Diploma Program live stream. An opportunity to ask any questions that you may have about the Diploma Program. Today, we're joined by our experts, Mr. Tweedale, our TOK expert, Miss Emperor, our extended essay expert, Mr. Antema, our all-around IB coordinator, and Ms. Vasidens, our CAS expert. We're going to start with the question, what is the Diploma Program? We're going to ask that to Mr. Antema.
Hey, everybody. So the Diploma Program is one to have. There are several programs for IB. There's the PYP, the Primary Years Program. Those are for elementary school kids. The MYP, which many of you have experienced or are currently experiencing as 10th graders. That's the Middle Years Program from grades 7 through 10. And then the Diploma Program here at City is a 2-year program for our juniors and seniors, our 11th and 12th graders. And then there is another program for post-secondary work, which we don't have here at City, obviously, but it's the careers or the CP, the career program. So DP, Diploma Program, it's a program that comes after MYP. Everything that you have learned in MYP with regard to the approaches to learning, the ways of thinking, how you move through content, how you interact with each other, engage with the natural world, all of those skills of setting you up well for success in the Diploma Program. So they are streamlined and intentionally organized.
Thank you, Mr. Antema. And what are some of the benefits of the Diploma Program?
The benefits of the Diploma Program are numerous. Some of them you experience right in the Diploma Program time as juniors and seniors, and some of them are dividends that you get to experience and appreciate years later. Now, it is no joke that IB in the Diploma Program is academically rigorous. It is one of the most challenging academic curriculums on the planet. Okay, just to make that sure that that's very clear. We're not trying to sugarcoat any of that. It is real stuff. That being said, how you are tempered through this experience, you are learning in class, the things that you are doing, those are experiences that are going to set you up super well in college or in career after high school. You're going to sit there in college and you're going to have a professor say, hey, you have to write this article or have to write this report. And you're thinking, I already did the extended essay, and you can feel the tension in the room rise around you. You're like, I've been there, I've done that, I've got the skills, I'm calm and confident. Okay. So that in and of itself, setting you up super well for college is one of the many benefits. Also, there's possibilities for accreditation, getting college credit because of the rigor, the known rigor, and your success here at City. So there are many tangible, extrinsic and intrinsic benefits of being a DP IB student here at City.
That's awesome, Mr. Antema. And you mentioned the extended essay, so I'm wondering, Ms. Emperor, what are some of the things we can expect from the extended essay as seniors in the coming months?
As seniors, you're saying, Kumar? Okay, so the senior year, excuse me, guys, I'm still having a class go on while I'm doing this. As seniors, really what you're doing is drafting and revising and finishing your extended essay, which is a process you start as your junior year. Some kids also who are juniors who are watching this live stream today may be asking even what is the extended essay. And I just want to preface this also too for those juniors. It really is an exploration in a topic that maybe you have briefly discussed in your DP classes or are increasingly interested in and haven't explored in your classes, and do research on and write an essay on it. And it starts the December-ish of your junior year and heads into the fall of the first semester of your senior year. And like I said, for seniors, it's drafting, revising, editing, and turning in an essay in which you've reflected on the process, grown and changed, and figured out how to write and created. And honestly, like Mr. Antema was saying, a research project is something, it's a skill that you will need in every single one of your college classes. There will not be a college class that you won't need to know how to do this skill. I went to a liberal arts school, so I took classes in yoga, I took English classes, I took science classes. Every single class required a research paper that was at least 10 pages long, that at least had 10 sources, and was required to follow a format. And that skill prepares you for every aspect of your collegiate life. But I know that was way beyond more than the question you asked, Kumar, but hopefully that was helpful.
Thank you, Ms. Emperor. And Ms. Jackson asked, are there any limits to what we can write about with our EE?
Absolutely. And Ms. Jackson is exactly right. Though you are limited to the specifics that you're studying in your classes. So for instance, let me give you a boundary, which I know personally specifically with, and maybe Mr. Antema, Mr. Tweedale, and Ms. Facetance can talk more to their specific subjects. With the DP, there are certain books that we read in English class because hypothetically in your IAs and for your exam, you may be using those texts. You may not write about those texts in your extended essay. So that is a limitation to which is specific for lit and language. But I'm sure also there are intricacies for the other core subjects as well. And maybe you guys, Mr. Tweedale, Ms. Facetance, or Mr. Antema could speak to that a little bit.
That sounds great. Mr. Tweedale, can you speak to that, please?
As far as the history world goes in the EE format, is that what you're asking me to elaborate on?
Yeah, are there limitations to what you can specifically talk about? Meaning, like in an English EE, you can't talk about in your EE stories that you're reading, novels that you're reading in your junior and senior year of English.
Sure. No, I don't believe that there's any limitations in material that has been covered. In the historical sense, we actually would probably prefer that you would tackle topics that we've discussed in your DP history courses. Mostly because it's relevant, it's pertinent to the topic. There is a historical rule of, I believe it's 10 years. Nothing younger than 10 years is history technically. So we prefer you to go further and deeper into time than that. But other than that, I believe that's really the only historical rule in the EE world for us on this end. So.
Thank you, Mr. Tweedale. And Ms. Facetance, are there any limitations with math EEs?
Likewise, there's really no limitations with the math. It's whatever content that you want to do. Obviously, it's got to be content that you're able to research on your own, but there's no official limitations to that. Math is a little bit different in that it's all based on a lot of research that you've done through your own data collection. So you kind of are your own source. You create the own resources yourself. So it's not based a lot on primary sources. It's based on whatever data you generate.
And then I'll speak to the I'll speak to the sciences real quick. Let's hop in there, Kumar. Apologies. So with the sciences, you have opportunities to do both primary and secondary research, conducting your own experiment and doing data analysis, or doing some data analysis on experiments or research that have already been done. So that is one of the limitations. It's not really a limitation, but it's two very distinct routes you take with regard to the EE for sciences. The only other limitation that's set by IB is one about ethics. So if you're doing an experiment that impacts negatively or harms in any way, gives undue stress to any living organism, person, mouse, whatever, rabbit, what have you, that is prohibited by IB in terms of their animal safety policies.
As well it should be. Thank you, Mr. Antony.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move on to some of the more unique features of DPCAS, including TOK and, just the CAS program. I said DP CAS, my apologies. But I'm wondering, Ms. Lucedens, what does the CAS project entail? Because I know that is something that only the DP candidates have to do.
The CAS project, you only need to do one, and you can do it anytime between your junior and senior year. We kind of recommend getting it done prior to your senior year. But for those seniors that still need to do that, it's a CAS experience that involves deliberate planning. So it's not just something that you do spur in the moment. And you think about it, you do a little bit of research as to what materials may be involved, any content that you need to make. You plan to execute it, you perform it, and then you do a little bit of reflection on it. So really, you try to think about something that you're already doing and let's turn that into some sort of experience that you were planning, if that makes sense.
That sounds great, Ms. Stevens. Now, moving on to TOK, Ms. Trito, what is TOK like, and what can we expect from the TOK essay?
Well, for the TOK essay, it's definitely one of the more unique, somewhat more difficult essays in that basically we're asking you to explore your knowledge that you've learned through your experience in IB and kind of flip it on its head. Every essay that you've done has been with a rubric and supported through specific protocols. And this TOK rubric is very, very open-ended, and there's not really a solid structure that we would follow for this essay. We really are looking for you to justify your knowledge with exploration of it and comparing the world around you to it as well. So the TOK essay is definitely one of the most unique essays that you'll be writing in the DP program.
Thank you, Mr. Tweedale. Now, a lot of this sounds like it's pretty heavy for DP candidates. So what are some of the support systems that they can get through the DP program while they're here? Let's start with Ms. Emperor.
In with the extended essay and TOK, or just in general?
Just in general.
Ms. Jackson and Mr. Antema and myself, we have worked really hard to create a sort of a schedule for you specifically with the extended essay in which you are doing different parts of the process in different times of the year, and you can kind of ruminate on certain things and go forward so that you're not, waiting until the last possible moment to write that essay. And we are working on support systems, especially for kids who maybe need extra support with editing and writing during that time in order to help with the essay as we're moving along. I think we've really kind of perfected a lot of that process, giving kids incremental due dates rather than end due dates. I think when we, especially those of you who are juniors, new juniors, I think that personal project was like a huge deal for a lot of you. And maybe that was kind of the first time you ever did an independent project on your own with a monstrous amount of due dates. And we've learned through that process and through this process, waiting to the last minute isn't always best. And so the support systems are here. You can come talk to Ms. Jackson. You can come talk to Mr. Antema. You can talk to myself. You can talk to Ms. Vandervliet about, sort of what kind of things you need or support as you're moving forward. And of course, all the extended essay students have a mentor who they can speak to at any point in time, in addition to the department heads who deal specifically with those subjects who are willing to give you support as well. And hopefully you don't ever feel, sort of that you've been left alone in this entire process as you're going along. And also, as a senior, I encourage you, reach out to your mentor. Tell your mentor you need mini deadlines. Tell your mentor that you would like to be able to check in with them and chat with them. I talk to not just my mentees in the hallway, but I talk to other mentees all the time and just, try to give support where I can and help where is needed. And you just have to ask, Kumar. and we will help you solve what you need to get solved, whether it's extended essay, CAS project, or what have you. You know, I've been talking with my juniors all week about CAS projects they could do, things that they do in their regular life that they can make grand into something meaningful. And I think, you know, you guys are all really great, unique kids. You can do amazing things. You just have to, you know, ask for that support, ask for that help. So there's lots of support to be given, but we don't know we are needed unless we are asked. So ask away. We will try to help you.
Thank you, Ms. Emperor, and I know Mr. Anton had something to add to that.
Yeah, Miss Emperor just spoke to it right at the end. We're going to wrap it up right after this. Thank you, everybody, for participating. But I want to speak to one specific thing. The DP is challenging, okay? But one of your greatest supports is the people and the teachers around you. Yes, you're an individual student, but this is a collective educational experience. Some of the greatest assets to your success are sitting around you. Encourage others to engage in what you're learning and vice versa. Ask for help. That is a sign of courage and a sign of strength. You're stronger and have greater depth than you even know you have right now. Okay, your teachers, your administrators, your counselors, all here. We're in your corner and we're cheering for you. But as Ms. Emperor said, reach out soon and often if and when you think you need some help.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antimon. On that note, we're going to wrap up. Thank you to all our panelists for coming in and talking to us today. And to all of you who are watching, hopefully you learned something and have a better grasp of what the diploma program is like here at City. And I know that you can ask any of the people around here, and they will be more than happy to offer you support in this journey. So thank you so much for watching, guys.